Tanse, I'm Cree. Welcome to APTN National News Daytime on this Monday. Quebec police have confirmed the arrest of 2 teenagers in the fatal shooting of 2 men in the Cree community of Mistissini. The shooting happened last Wednesday in Mistissini, 600 kilometers northwest of Quebec City. They were arrested on Friday at around 1 p.m. by a tactical unit force. They appeared in court on Saturday. Both have been charged with first-degree murder. 30-year-old Badabin Nipush and 29-year-old Daniel Binak were found deceased last Wednesday night in a car that had multiple gunshots. According to police, the deaths may be linked to organized crime to settle a score. Following the events, Mistissini was in lockdown until last Thursday morning. The 2 teens will return to court this Monday afternoon. After a 11-day trial, Nathan Chasing Horse, the Dances with Wolves actor who played Smiles Lot in the movie Dances with Wolves, has been convicted of sexual assaulting Indigenous women and girls. A Las Vegas, Nevada jury made the decision on Friday where they found Chasing Horse guilty of 13 of 21 charges. The main conviction centered around a victim who was 14 when Chasing Horse began assaulting her. Chasing Horse, now 49, faces a minimum of 25 years in prison. His sentencing hearing is scheduled for March 11th. Chasing Horse also faces more charges in other states in Canada. Right now, prosecutors in British Columbia are awaiting his sentencing to see what steps will be taken for him to face those other charges. His lawyer said he will file for a new trial, adding that he was disappointed in the jury's verdict. RCMP have charged a man in connection with a suspicious death investigation at a First Nation in northwestern Saskatchewan. On Friday, January 30th at around 8:45 a.m., Meadow Lake RCMP were called to a home in the Waterhen Lake First Nation. When RCMP arrived, they located a 37-year-old man from Waterhen who was seriously injured. He was later pronounced deceased by EMS at the scene. The man's family has been notified and victim services is being made available. 24-year-old Sky Lasas has been arrested and charged with second-degree murder. The name of the victim is not being released at this time. RCMP say the victim and the accused knew each other. Lasas will make his first court appearance in Meadow Lake Provincial Court this morning. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand is headed to Greenland this week to open a new Canadian consulate in the territory. The consulate will be in Greenland's capital of Nuuk. Anand will also be joined by Governor General Mary Simon for the trip. Interest in Greenland and Arctic security has grown in recent months, with U.S. President Donald Trump's threats to annex the territory. Greenland is an autonomous territory of Denmark, which is part of NATO. The majority of Greenland's residents are Inuit. A former national chief of the Assembly of First Nations has joined the Arctic Gateway Group in Manitoba. It's an organization that runs the Hudson Bay Railway and Port of Churchill in northern Manitoba. A recipient of the Order of Canada, Ovid Mercredi, says he wants First Nations and northern communities to also benefit from the province's proposed development in Churchill. So far, the Manitoba government said it wants to expand the railway and port in Churchill and pitch it as a nation-building project that would boost Arctic sovereignty and have more Canadian goods shipped to European market. Mercredi says northern Manitoba's time is now, and he hopes the new development will support new jobs and opportunities for the prosperity of First Nations and people living in northern Manitoba. In a statement, Mike Spence, the Arctic Gateway Group chair and mayor of Churchill, added, "Ovid Mercredi is a nation builder in every sense of the word, and we're honored to have him join the AGG board. His understanding of northern Manitoba, his national leadership experience, and his role in helping First Nations and all Canadians navigate some of the most challenging moments in our recent history will be crucial as AGG advances the long-term development of the Port of Churchill and the Hudson Bay Railway." Mercredi is also the former chief of the Mississippic Cree Nation, also known as Grand Rapids. The Arctic Gateway Group, which was established in 2018, is owned by 41 First Nations and northern communities with a goal to diversify trade routes in Canada. It's now confirmed the parasite residents of Kashechewan First Nation were sick with, according to Indigenous Services Canada. Raw and treated water samples from the remote Northern Ontario community tested positive for Cryptosporidium. Those same samples did not find E. coli present. Kashechewan declared a state of emergency on January 4th, followed by a full-scale evacuation for residents due to the failed water infrastructure system. A do not consume water advisory was issued on January 5th. However, some residents began dealing with gastrointestinal-like symptoms. The investigation pointed to the water.
As of yesterday's numbers, I think the number is 63 people that have tested positive. However, the number of people that did get it is probably much higher than what's being reported through the tests that we've been doing.
Meanwhile, health officials urge symptomatic residents to seek medical care immediately. Wesley says they're still trying to find answers how the parasite got into the water system in the first place.
I know one of the big issues that we've had at the beginning of this crisis was the high lift pumps malfunctioning, and also a valve that's supposed to protect or block the sewage from entering the water plant failed. So I'm not too sure if that caused it.
The Government of Canada and Nunavut made a $480 million housing announcement on Friday. At the press conference, both parties announced an agreement in principle which will see as many as 750 new homes built in the territory. Ottawa will contribute up to $250 million for the project, with Nunavut providing the rest. 25 of the homes will be managed by Nunavut Tungavut Incorporated, or NTI. The announcement was made at the Ottawa-based construction company Kavan, which will help in the building of some of the homes. Nunavut Housing Minister Cecile Nalvana Layal had this to say.
Today's announcement is about more than just housing units. It's about ensuring that Nunavummiut can participate fully in social and economic life. It represents a measure of hope that people will have places to rest after long days, where children can study, and where families can plan a future.
After years of effort and advocacy from grieving families, the Northwest Territories Missing Persons Act is now enforceable. The act is specifically designed to help police in locating a missing person where no criminal investigation is underway. Regulations outline procedures for the way RCMP asks to access records or carry out searches, procedures and requirements for officers making emergency demands, and how people whose information has been accessed will be told. It gives police new tools, like the power to urgently request a missing person's record from banks, colleges, and other institutions. The legislation has been strongly supported by families of missing people and advances a key commitment in the Territory's action plan for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. We'll have more on this story next week. The Yukon government is expanding access to healthy food in some of the territory's schools with the help from the federal government's National School Food Program. As APTN Sarah Connors tells us, the nonprofit organization rolling out the program says while it's a step in the right direction, it doesn't match a similar program the feds cut last year.
Lunch prep is already underway at Selkirk Elementary in Whitehorse. The school has been selected to take part in a pilot project for the National School Food Program. The pilot will serve a hot lunch to 850 students across 7 Yukon schools until March 2027.
It's going to be a lot of work and dedication to make sure that every student has access to this, but if there is ever a time, it's now.
The pilot is being led by the Yukon government and delivered by the Yukon First Nation Education Directorate. The Directorate says this is the first program of its kind in the territory to offer a universal lunch.
It's taking a real step forward and getting us closer to being able to offer school food for every student.
The The Yukon government says the focus now is on a phased rollout. That means collecting data and addressing logistical challenges to better understand what works and what doesn't before expanding the program further.
The things that we'll learn through that phased rollout will help shape decisions that are made for the future of the National School Food Program for the Yukon.
But gaps remain. The Directorate ran a rural nutrition program that offered a daily hot lunch as well as breakfast and snacks to 900 Indigenous children. The program helped feed vulnerable Indigenous children in rural communities experiencing food insecurity. But the Directorate was forced to cut the program last fall after the federal government decided it no longer qualified for funding under Jordan's principle. Wheelton says the pilot is a step in the right direction, but doesn't replace what was lost.
So it's able to offer lunch, but at this point in time, given the budget and the constraints, it's just a lunch program. It's not able to offer breakfast or snacks or any of those other supports.
The program is scheduled to launch in the next few months. Wheelton says when students are well fed and ready to learn, they thrive.
Nutrition is a building block for health and development. You can't learn if you're hungry.
Sarah Connors, APTN National News, Whitehorse.
It is Groundhog Day for this 2026, and according to legend, there will be 6 more weeks of winter if a groundhog sees their shadow, and an early spring if they don't.
As town criers for Willie, we're proud to proclaim, no shadow he spotted, no sunshine he claimed. So once again, the crier's bell did ring. Yes, Willie predicts, now hear this, it's an early spring!
Wow, that guy went up to 10 for that one. Ontario's Wiarton Willie is predicting warm weather ahead. The rodent reportedly did not see his shadow, according to the mayor and town criers. Sadly, Nova Scotia cancelled the event for Shubenacadie Sam because of the weather. According to folklore, that means an early end to winter. We're always looking for your feedback or story ideas. Here's how to continue the conversation with us. If you have a story you want to share, send us an email to news@aptn.ca. And to read and watch our stories, go to www.aptnnews.ca. And you can also find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. Métis music country singer Jerry Serreta is up next to tell us about his newest title he just received. We'll be right back with that interview. Welcome back. Manitoba's Indigenous country music scene has been blowing up on some big stages in recent years. William Prince played the Grand Ole Opry, Katie St. Germain played the Grey Cup, and Desiree Dorian just played a Winnipeg Jets game. Another artist, Jerry Soretta, is hoping for a big year. He just recently was named Manitoba's Indigenous Artist of the Year at the Manitoba Country Music Awards. Jerry joins us now in studio. Jerry, thanks so much for joining us and congrats on your recent win. What did being named Manitoba's Best Indigenous Country Artist of the Year mean for you?
You know, I've been a big advocate for Indigenous musicians and Indigenous people for a long time. This year to be named Manitoba's Indigenous Country Artist of the Year was top of my career, I think. Not only because I got that title for this year, but this year, looking at the list of nominees that we had, there was more Indigenous artists in the list of Manitoba artists than there were non-Indigenous artists, which made me very, very proud because we're making huge strides in Manitoba and across Canada, making ripples. So that warms my heart. It shows that, you know, our voice is becoming bigger and bigger as we advocate for it.
That's so great to hear, and I agree with you. You've been around the industry for a while. How would you describe your journey?
It's been a long journey, you know. I always started out singing, songwriting with my grandparents. My grandmother taught me how to play guitar, and she always encouraged me to go places with it and to write songs and continue to tell my stories. But it's a battle. I mean, it's a struggle every single day that we get out there to write a song, every day that we release a song. And once the song's out there, every day is a push. You know, radio is a very hard nut to crack, I will say. So is television. And it's that dedication and perseverance. And you really have to get used to hearing no a lot. And if you can get past that, there's a lot of great opportunities and a lot of great resources, I suppose, to help people, especially right here in Manitoba. We have Manitoba Film and Music, and we have the Aboriginal Music, Indigenous Music Program right here in Manitoba, and they're constantly supporting Indigenous artists emerging, and I've even helped mentor some of them. So I think we're getting stronger and better. We just need people to keep bringing that creative artistry to us, and we'll help amplify the voice.
A lot of perseverance, eh?
Very much so, yeah. A lot of uphill climbing, but it's so worth it in the end to look back and see the journey.
Yes, for sure. In the era of streaming and social media, is it easier or more difficult to get your name out there?
It depends, I guess, again, how creative you are. One of the problems I think nowadays with musicians is unless you have a whole label behind you or a whole team behind you, you kind of have to be a little bit of an expert in a lot of different areas. Social media, programming, making short clips, finding ways to engage with your audience who might not be able to come out and see you in person, which, you know what, has always been a great avenue for me and one that I've always pushed for, because I have a lot of people who hear my music and support my music, but they're in remote communities across Canada and aren't always able to make it out, which is why I've always made it on our website. My motto is all of my music, always free, all the time. So anybody who likes my music can always go to jerrysoretta.com and download any song for free. It's my gift to you, and we hope that we make it to your community.
That's great. And as we mentioned in the intro, Indigenous country music artists in Manitoba are having a big moment, whether it's William Prince or Desiree Dorian or Katie St. Germain. What do you think is behind all this talent? You talked about it a little bit there. Anything else you want to add?
Well, I mean, we've all grown up kind of in the same pocket of resources and working with each other and knowing each other and really being able to be there and rally behind each other to give that support when we're not getting it from other areas. And that translates to other people seeing it and they're like, whoa, there's some stuff happening in Manitoba that's like unheard of. This is amazing stuff. And we're helping move that needle forward, which is helping on a Canadian-wide context and even on a global context.
Mm-hmm. And finally, We're closing the show today with a special performance. Really quickly, in about 20 seconds, can you explain just what your song's about?
This was a song I wrote with Gord Bamford and Buddy Owens, and it's a song about being saved by love. It's truly that journey about maybe going down the wrong path, but finding somebody who made you change to be a better person.
Perfect. I love that. Jerry Soretta, thank you so much for being here, and definitely come by again when you have some time.
Well, Chimigwich, thank you and merci to everybody, and I hope to see you all very, very soon.
And don't go away. We will close the show with a special performance from Jerry Soretta singing his single, I Met a Woman. We'll be right back. On the East Coast, St. John 0, Charlottetown -3 in flurries. Happy Valley, Goose Bay -8, La Grande River -10. -13 in Quebec City, Gaspé +1. Ottawa -10 and sunny. Toronto -6. -11 in Sudbury, Wawa flurries and -5. Churchill -28, Thompson -29. Gimli -24, Dauphin -23. -8 in Regina, Saskatoon -9. -11 in Buffalo Narrows, flurries in Meadow Lake at -9. Peace River 0, Fort McMurray -7. Sunny in Lethbridge at 9, cloudy in Red Deer at -1. Partly cloudy in Vancouver at 14, Campbell River 8. Dees Lake 0, Smithers 4. Watson Lake -8, Mayo -13. Fort Simpson -16, Yellowknife -19. -32 in Sax Harbor, Polituck -20. -29 in Baker Lake, Chesterfield -19. And Arctic Bay -31, Aglulik -27. We leave you now with a performance from Jerry Soretta, Manitoba's Indigenous Country Music Artist of the Year, and his latest single, I Met a Woman. We will see you back in a few hours for your evening newscast. Me, Gwetch, for joining us, and we'll see you again.
some good times with some good girls. Gave the outlaw life a good whirl. Been some places, done some things I never should have done. Yeah, I've been close to love and all I do is run. And I met a woman who saved my life. She slowed me down a bit and tamed my wild side. A beautiful woman, the truest kind. Every night I lay down, I thank God that I met a woman. I never thought that I would ever settle down. That's a thought I couldn't wrap my headstrong head around. I was a drifter on a road that only ends in lonely. And living fast, never looking back. Yeah, that was the old me. Then I met a woman who saved my life. Slowed me down a bit and tamed my wild side. Beautiful woman, truest kind. Every night I lay down, I thank God that I met a woman. I met a woman. And I met a woman who saved my life. Slowed me down a bit and tamed my wild side. Beautiful woman, truest kind. Every night I lay down, I thank God that I met a woman. Yeah, I met a woman, beautiful woman. 'Cause I met a woman. Good times, good girls. Gave the outlaw life a good whirl. Been some places, done some things I never should have done. Yeah, I've been close to love and all I